said that we were going to need help in 2 months from these countries. I lied. Oh, we probably got a month left. It was announced yesterday that the colonel of the Marine Corps, who has been in his position for 24 years, decided to resign after saying Pete Hegseth's speech had ruptured a certain feeling amongst the military. And I'm going to add the second reason why today, because I think people have kept this a secret. Donald Trump will be firing live missiles into California. I can't believe I just said that. Donald Trump will be firing from warships live missiles into California on No King's Day. Yes, you heard me correctly. If you can tell me any president outside of Abraham Oogie or anybody else in between that has taken the opportunity of bombing anything in our country, anything on soil, we usually practice shit like that, I don't know, in the ocean or somewhere else. This happens to be close to one of the big protests, San Diego and Los Angeles. And honestly, as a historian and a constitutionalist, this shit is bad. It was so bad with the execution of this operation, Gavin Newsom had to run around with like a chicken with his head cut off, so that they didn't shut down his highways without his permission and not tell him that they were going to fire into Camp Pendleton. On April 12th of 1861, there was a random explosion in Fort Sumner, South Carolina, that led to the Civil War.
Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, this Yakim Joel Azel back with another quick lesson, and you can tell by the opening clip. It's about this up-and-coming protests that are, planned to take place tomorrow. That's titled, or they go by the slogan, No Kings, a No Kings protest. I don't know much about, this so-called organization. If it's an organization in itself or just random individuals protesting, I'm not, too curious about their origins. But from the last time that I looked up the events that took place behind this No Kings protest, everyone that was protesting then, were Edomites, self-proclaimed white people. And they defined it as a peaceful protest because no one was hurt nor arrested. So not to say they wasn't, or even this time they won't be any so-called Negroes, Latinos, or Native Americans. I seriously doubt there will be many. But I'm going to go into it, man. This is from US Today. This is where this source comes from. And it's titled Politics. It's underneath the politics section. And the subtitle reads, What to Know About October 18th No Kings Protests. So this is, something that is planning to happen, So it's no, what you want to say, conspiracy theory. But let's go into it. It says in the latest, so it's like in the latest in a series of mass protests since President Donald Trump took office, No Kings rallies and marches will be held at more than 250 locations nationwide on October the 18th. So I'm pretty sure where I'm currently, because I think they did have one in Richmond. That's where I'm located now, in Richmond. They had one here the last time they demonstrated. So it's more than likely, they say they're doing it in over 2,500 locations. It's more than likely they may do it again here. But it says the protests are meant as a celebration of free speech, the right to assemble, and the First Amendment broadly. It is also an opportunity to push back against recent moves by Trump's administration, including increased immigration enforcement, organizers say. So I'm going to leave it there, man. I'm not going to go into it. So that's where they're protesting what in the, the First Amendment broadly, and I guess they're, demonstrating their displeasement of, policies that this devil has enforced, man. And let's go into this right here. Another news article from the sources Yahoo News. It says, unpacking claims Trump planned show of force by firing missiles into California during protests, man. So this is what this devil planned on doing, man. He said he's planned on doing what? Firing missiles into California during protests. So when these jokers, namely in California, when they're protesting, when they're planning to protest, and this is supposed to happen tomorrow, correct? He planned on firing missiles, man, into California, not off the shore, into, that means hitting the landmass, man. Let's see. An article by self-described Salakia. It says, an article by self-described pro-democracy media outlet Madison Touch, which cited unnamed sources, reported that U.S. President Donald Trump's administration was planning a show of force by launching missiles into California on October the 18th, 2025, the same day as planned No Kings protest, noting that Intersection 5 could be shut down. California Governor Gavin Newsom shared the claim on X, writing, Donald Trump and DJ Vance think that shutting down the Interstate 5 or I-5 to shoot out missiles from ships is how you respect the military. The U.S. Marines posted a statement on their website that said all training events will occur on approved training ranges and comport with established safety protocols, and that no public highways or transportation routes will be closed. Newsom later acknowledged this statement on X. The Los Angeles Times reported it was Newsom's office that considered the closure of the interstate to accommodate the event. As activists plan another No Kings protest on October the 18th, 2025, the Voice to voice discontent with the administration of Republican U.S. President Donald Trump, a rumor spread on social media that the president was planning to show off force by launching missiles over California. The rumor claimed the administration planned on closing Interstate 5 to shoot out missiles from ships and into Camp Pendleton Pendleton, a training facility for the Marines about 80 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Users accused social media sites such as Instagram Archive, X Archives, and Facebook Archives shared the claim. Some suggest Trump planned on using the excess. Some suggest Trump planned to use the excuse of the military showcase in order to intimidate No King protesters, citing the administration's attempts to characterize the protests as anti-American. Many Snopes, or whatever you want to say, or many Snoop's readers emailed us to ask about the veracity of the rumor. On October 15, 2025, the Marines posted a statement on their official website announcing a live fire ambience capabilities demonstrations at Red Beach Camp Pendleton that would be followed by a community beach bash at Del Mar Beach on October 18th, 2025 to mark the Marine Corps' it's like the Marine Corps 250th birthday and American semi-quan sentinel. If I'm saying that right, semi-quan sentinel, whatever that means. But we know this marking, like that word 250 is the year that what most dynasties fall. That's the longest a dynasty, lasts, man, before it's what decline / taken out of power, man. So we see they're marking. They know, these devils know this, man. But like you said, even though they're so-called having this protest, and then you got the military demonstrating, shooting live missile training, doing the same thing, but some people put it as what? An intimidation tactic, in which it could be, man. You know what I'm saying? It could, more likely, just like the title said, it says unpacking claim Trump planned show of force by firing missiles into California during protests. So he picked this same day these people are, constructing a protest to demonstrate what? A show of force, man. Even though, through the spirit, all this is orchestrated by what? These devils, man. You know what I'm saying? It could be just because a lot of these, especially whatever's happening throughout this society, Babylon the Great, aka America, regardless of who's in position, whether it be a left wing, right wing, Democrat, Republican, blue state, red state, etc., man. It's for the benefit of these pale faces, man. Regardless. And I'm gonna go into a precept. This is the book of Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourneth, man. So protesting is not a sign of people rejoicing, man. Protesting is a sign of what? People what? Displeased, pretty much mourning, man. These people are not joyful that this devil's in office, man. Let's read the New Living Translation. It says, when the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, they groan, man. So protesting is more or less a part of what? Groaning. People are lamenting, man. People dissatisfied, crying out against what? The displeasement of the acts that are taking place here, man. Like they said, in light of the protest is in light of what? The First Amendment, the right to protest, assemble, and their disapproval of the dispatching of a National Guard / ICE and etc. into their communities, man. So like but yeah, that's what's going on. These demonstrations, like the No Kings rally, These are demonstrations, protests of what? Of examples of people what? Of the people doing what? Mourning, man. They're not rejoicing over what's taking place here in Babylon the Great, man. So, like, I got a couple more precepts or scriptures I'm gonna bring out. Because also let me bring this out. They tried to coin this guy what? The president of peace, right? But that's what I thought it was. But because I was thinking of the scripture, Prince of Peace, which we know that's the Yahweh Shai. But I said I googled Trump coined the Prince of Peace. It says this is the AI overview. It says Donald Trump did not coin. Donald Trump did not coin the phrase Prince of Peace, but he was given the title by a pro-Israeli group in 2024 and has been called the President of Peace by supporters. The original title, Prince of Peace, has biblical origins and refers to, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. But, they pretty much gave this guy, these pro-Israeli, gave him the title President of Peace. But how's he's, make it make sense that he's given that title, right? Where he's aiding these countries with, weapons to enact war, giving them weapons of mass destructions, and also demonstrating what's going on. What's supposedly supposed to go on tomorrow, shooting missiles, not on offshore where it could, potentially not harm anyone, but he's shooting missiles inland inside, California, man. Also changing, the changing of what? The Secretary of Defense to the Secretary of War. War and peace is two different contrasts, man. You either got one or other. You got peace or you got war, man. You know what I'm saying? So how can you be titled, the President of Peace, but everything you're doing, even to the renaming of your cabinet from Secretary of Defense to Secretary of War, man. So that's what this devil is. Everything he does is is contrast. He's a hypocrite, man. It's contrast to what he's trying to promote is different. He's saying he's the president of peace, but he's demonstrating war, man. So, as they're saying, you can't go by what someone says. His actions prove his real intentions, man. Or you can't go by what people say. Their actions prove their real intentions and who they are, man. And I'm going to go into the book of Jeremiah. Chapter 6, and I'm going to go to 14, which is the point. It says, they have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace, man. So slightly, like these people right here in Babylon the Great, slightly, that's what they do. They're feeling like, oh, everything's okay, there's no real impending danger because it looks so far like people are is peace. it's peaceful, right? Because these jokers can continue on their wickedness here in Babylon the Great. They got some sense of peace, man. But what the Lord said, they have healed. Let's read the New Living Translation. It says they offer superficial treatments for my people's mortal mortal wound. They gave assurance of peace when there is no peace, man. So they give it superficial treatments, man. Like this lifestyle here is superficial treatment. They can go about conducting their wickedness here in Babylon the Great. There's a superficial treatment of or sense of what? Peace, man. Or people like, oh, it's okay. Everything's okay here, But that's superficial, man. They're given an assurance of peace when there is no peace, man. There's no peace, man. And I'm gonna get into another precept, and I'm gonna close it out. This is the book of Isaiah 57. And what's the subtitle? It says, evil rulers rebuked. Evil rulers rebuke, which we know, just like our teachers say, the elders say what? That evil ruler, man, who is Trump, man. That wicked ruler, man, that cruel, it's the cruel ruler, yeah. The cruel ruler, man. He's cruel, and you can see by what he was passing that bill, one big beautiful bill, and what's in it, and these people gonna feel the effects of it, man. '21, 57 and 21. It says, let's go to 20, Isaiah 57 and 20 says, but the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. There is no peace, saith the Lord. So there's no peace, saith our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to the wicked, man. So there's no peace with being under the rulership of these wicked ass people, man. There's no peace, man. There's always something going on, man, because these devils have a perpetual hatred, namely for the children of Israel, man. But they go out domestic and abroad with their wickedness, man. Let's read the New Living Translation. I'm gonna close it out. It says, Isaiah 57 and 20, New Living Translation. It says, but those who still reject me are like the restless sea, which is never still but continually continually churns up mud and dirt. There is no peace for the wicked, says my power, man. There's no peace. There's no peace for the wicked, man. These people want to continue to bring about strife, contention, destruction, and everything that comes with this abominable lifestyle, man. But I'm gonna end it off there, man. I'm gonna just stay in tune, Lord willing, to the events that fold out tomorrow, man. More than likely it may not nothing occur. More than likely nothing may not occur. You know why? Because the majority of people that attend, if not all, this so-called this no king rally, just like last time, they said that there was no arrest made, there was no violence, cause why? Predominantly, if not all of them, were so-called Edomites, or predominantly Edomites, man. But I'm going to still, like the Lord said, pray as well as watch. So we just going to, Lord willing, I'm going to watch and see what unfolds on that day, man. So I'm going to end it off there. Hope the body is edified. Till next time, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Wakak Wadash. This your Akim and Drill Azil. Lord willing, I'll be back with another lesson. Till next time, Shalom, Barakatham, and the Barber Ball. Shalom.